Howdy folks, Nathan Adlam here with PFL Classics. Look at what we got here. This is a very special Bronco. It's a 1970, which has been slightly modified by John's 4x4 in Boulder, Colorado. Now Mark, the owner, shipped it from Los Angeles to Boulder, Colorado to have it modified. And wait till you see what this truck has in store. Folks, I want to introduce you to Ross, and Ross owns John's 4x4. I know it's a little confusing, but you've also had an opportunity to update this vehicle to Mark, who's the owner's request. Tell us a little bit about what you've done.
Well, let me start by saying we've got a 1970 Bronco here that originally came with this 302 motor, a Dana 30 front axle, a 49-inch rear axle. But one of the big problems, Nathan, is drum brakes on all four corners. The thing wouldn't stop.
Four-wheel drum brakes.
Four-wheel drum brakes, and in 1970, sure, that's fine. Well, here we are in Boulder, Colorado. We're up on the top of a mountain. I'll tell you, this thing stops nice now, thanks to a four-wheel power disc brake conversion. So we've got a full power booster that pushes the brakes, and then we've got discs on all four corners. It stops on a dime.
And I would imagine that they don't overheat, and you'll be able to run them all day long without much fade. So what about the power steering? It looks like everything's been augmented for that as well.
Yes, also it came with manual steering from the factory. Yeah. We've upgraded that with a power steering kit, and it includes everything from the bottom of the steering column all the way to the wheels. Basically a new steering shaft, new steering box, and works like a charm. Now, all of the parts that we used on this particular build are new. Nothing's remanufactured and nothing's from a junkyard. So we've got new in-box parts from end to end. They're also original and correct for a slightly later model Bronco. Well, inside, one of the first things you may notice is there's no carpet. We now have a Line X material applied, and that was applied everywhere on the tub to prevent it from any further rust. It was also taken up the roll bar for a nice matching look. Now, this roll bar is not factory. This is one thing that we built in-house. The reason for it, safety belts and safety altogether. But now every passenger's got a 3-point harness and safe down the road. So in doing the roll cage, we did have to make some modifications. One of those would be the glove box. Unfortunately, that roll cage leg interfered with the glove box door in such a way that you couldn't open it. So we had to do some custom body work and section that out and replace the portion of the dash so that nobody could tell the difference.
Now, what your guys basically did was they took 2 inches out of the box door and added it. No, actually, they took 2 inches out of the whole thing right here, right? And
that's correct.
moved
Yep.
everything over.
Yeah, and we just sectioned it back into the dash, and of course the dash had to go out for paint. But we went with the original white on that as well, and no one can tell the difference.
No, nobody can tell the difference. It's fantastic. I've also noticed that this is a 3-speed manual transmission, and it's a 3 on the tree.
It is. This is 3 on the tree, and it's basically an H. Toward me and up, and back we go. Let's head over to the mouth of the trail. Now we're gonna go, first gear is gonna be toward, oh, sorry about that, a little rough ride. First gear is toward me and down, and second would be away from me and up. Third is away from me and down.
this is the four-wheel drive lever?
That's the transfer case selector, correct.
And you can use it once you lock the hubs up front, right?
Yep, lock the hubs in the front, shifter in four-wheel drive, and we're on the trail.
The four-wheel drive system, has that been augmented by you guys?
Well, we've had to make some repairs. It was a beautifully restored truck. The body was done in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But it came to us still with some problems. We had wiring issues, but you mentioned the drivetrain, the four-wheel drive. It wasn't shifting into four-wheel drive properly, and the rear axle had two bent shafts.
Two bent shafts. Oh my God.
So anyone looking at these classic vehicles, have it taken over and do a pre-purchase inspection, or have an expert come out and appraise it before you pay too much and find out you've got some things to fix.
I've seen guys drop like 100 grand on these sight unseen. And in this particular case, we know that there's been a lot of money invested, but I mean, let's face it, new parts in a vehicle like this with updated brakes and updated steering, it handles, I'm guessing, more like a modern vehicle.
Yeah, we've gained a lot of drivability in the performance mods that we've done.
A big thank you to John's 4x4 in Boulder, Colorado, and to Mark, the owner of this 1970 Bronco. You're not going to find a truck like this every day. It is fantastic. For TFL Classics, this is Nathan Adlin. See you later.